Well, welcome to the Global Grandmothers Council Network. We are tending our roots today with Sandra Laub. Sandra, you might remember from our last year's event, she did an introduction to all of the grandmothers in our Tending Our Roots series. She's a retired high school English teacher and a stage actor for many, many years. That's been her heart. She's an artist and a heartist. And welcome, Sandra.
Thank you, Mayana, Mama Tink. It's so wonderful to be back here. Global Grandmothers Council Network was very much a part of my life when I was more active for about a year and a half. I had the great honor to be called. We don't know how, we don't know why, but we know that the calling happens, and when it happens, you have to follow it. And so I interviewed, I remember interviewing, and we recorded Catherine McIntosh from the UK, and she gave us all those Buddha meditation insight talks. She was fabulous, and I want to be back in touch with her. I hope she watches. We'll send this to her. And grandmother Becky Canoe, and of course our um, wonderful soul grandmother Suzanne Lewis, who passed on this past year. Aisha Deliverance. Who else did we do? Oh gosh, there was the woman
Sharon, Raji
Sharon, of
Maynard,
course. Exactly.
Marilyn
Anna,
Shannon,
Marilyn, exactly.
Dr. Julie.
Yep. Tana,
I
the grandmother from Eastern Europe.
yes, yes,
Fascinating, beautiful, wise women who I learned so much from. I just felt called to be a bridge. And so it was my honor to do that last year.
oh, and
Yeah.
we so appreciated it. It made the event easier for all of us novices to make happen.
We were all learning as we did it. It was like,
Yep.
we'll take care there, have some patience there. Oh, okay. And
Yeah,
everybody just rode with it. And in the end, it was a fantastic product, I think.
it was. Yes, and we're sharing now little clips and tidbits to get people to go again. And before we share these, we've cut our time frame down a little bit. We're going to share these videos between 12:18 and 12:21, and we're going to stream them, but we're recording them in advance, which will make it a lot easier on all of us. And we can do
Sure.
little edits that are necessary in advance.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. 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 Yep.
Well, Sandra, you have written a play, you have performed your play, you have done a work this year, and I would love for you to just share what tending your roots meant to you this year and how you did that.
Oh, thank you for the opportunity. I have been working before we met on a play that I was called to write because of the situation in the Middle East, the Israel-Palestine conflict, which erupted on October 7th, as we know, and then the subsequent devastation of Gaza. I was called to write a play because I'm a Jewish person. I'm a woman who has um, experienced a kind of American Judaism that is not just the religion, but the culture of being Jewish in the diaspora, and with connection, family connection to Israel. My grandmother's sister was a survivor of Auschwitz, and she emigrated to Israel in the 20s when my grandma came to Brooklyn in the 20s. And it's from my grandma's sister that those Israeli cousins are descended. And I got to visit them last year when we went in June to perform the play in about a dozen venues. We went on June 12th, and the very next day was the missile strike, was this next little war, this horrible concept that Israel can fight little wars, but it is in the middle of a place that is a tinderbox, the Middle East, and Iran has had been building up missile bases, arsenal. We know that history, we know those politics, and Israel struck. those bases, and Iran struck back. And for 12 days, my husband and I popped up from our bed to hunker down in the basement safe room while these missiles came. And I have to admit, thank God, Israel's Iron Dome intercepted most missiles, except for one that landed pretty close and had devastating destruction. There were people who died from those strikes. Um, and I got to experience firsthand the way my Israeli cousins and friends and new friends operate during crisis, during war, which I've never had to experience. I'm a privileged white, um, working middle class person in America who has never had to deal with that kind of crisis day in, day out. For years, Israelis have been living with missile strikes and siren warnings. And I thought to myself, how do people live like this? How can one empathize with people who live in the midst of war? And we know that this happens all over the world. We know it happens in Sudan and Africa and Myanmar, all of those terrible, terrible places where oppressors um, dominate. But my roots, my tending my roots are Jewish, and so my heart is with my Jewish Israeli relatives. And we had a hair-raising time there, a safe time though. I got to perform in the hotel lobby until an air raid siren sounded and we had to go down to the basement. I got to perform in my cousin's kibbutz, and it was interesting to do it for Israelis. The women came up to me afterwards and almost whispering said, "We know Palestinians. We worked with Palestinians and we can't work with them anymore and we miss them. And this can't go on." So the women got it, I have to say, but there was an elderly gentleman there who walked out of the performance. He came back, but he didn't want to talk about it. My performance has a talk back after each performance so that people can talk about what it sparks for them. Um, and I've heard, having done about 20 of these performances around the northeastern region, um, Jewish and non-Jewish people really resonate with my message. Um, some Jewish people say, "Hey, we sit in a shul in a congregation where we're afraid to talk about what's going on and what Israel is doing." Um, and non-Jewish people say, "Let me understand how you feel as an American Jew and an American taxpayer living through what is happening in Israel." And so I get to talk about that. We are planning to go back in May. My producer, who is a long lifetime friend, he taught my daughter her bat mitzvah, has secured about half a dozen or more very good theaters, congregations, city halls. We'll do it anywhere um, that will have us for very little money. Obviously, this is not a profit-making situation. It's a calling. So that's where I'm at. I'm currently rehearsing the play for performances where I live in Connecticut as rehearsals, and then in May we'll go to Israel again with the message. And I hope that Israelis are able to listen. I understand that there is trauma all over the place, all over the world right now, really. And I think in any way that we, as emissaries from a more privileged place, can bring to places that are in the middle of trauma, um, that's a good thing. My gift is I feel as a translator of that emotionally, um, and people resonate with it. There's nothing like live theater to experience a kind of catharsis and a kind of articulation of emotion in ways that maybe we don't do every day in our lives, or often at all. So,
Tell us the name and the premise of your story.
sure, the title is Picking Up Stones. And then the tagline is exactly what happened to me on October 8th. An American Jew wakes to a nightmare. Um, Picking up stones, I have my stones here. Um, my stones actually do sit on every ledge in my house. They are markers. As we know, stones carry vibration of our ancestors, vibration of the earth, of being grounded in the earth, and the history that cannot be denied. Stones are permanent. They're breakable, but they're permanent. So I'll just randomly choose this one. I think this one is the one I picked up at Masada, which is this tall mountain in Israel where the Jews who were left when the Roman Empire came through decided that they would make a suicide pact instead of surrendering to the Roman Empire. And they did. And there's a museum there, and we walked up there and we walked down, and it's an incredibly moving place on earth, Masada. It's the last stand of the Jews. As we know, they were swept out, the temple was destroyed, but we survived. And literally, we say the same prayer now. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. We've said that for millennia. And I wonder if we'll say that in another millennium to come. The survival of a people is important. So my stones are part of marking that journey of survival.
Mm.
Yeah.
Really touches my heart. I've studied about the
Yeah.
Messiah, about the community there and what they experienced. I've researched that in my Christianity roots. Because it comes out of Judaism. So I've had a deep personal feeling for that experience of standing for we're good and laying down for this is true. And
You see the tiny sandals that were children's sandals that are what's left of a civilization. And we know that many civilizations rise and fall. Maybe ours is rising and falling. The American civilization, the civilization of empire. Um, Maybe that's time. That's we talked before we got online about this time now, moving from 2025 to 2026, and the endings of some things, the beginnings of another. Maybe, and I think women, especially elder women, are very much a part of clearing away the dross of what we don't need anymore in order to sow the seeds of um, more life-affirming ways of being. I guess
yeah,
that's
and with the Global Grandmothers Council Network Facebook group, we've had quite a challenge in that very beginning time and with the chaos of the administration coming in. Oh, it was how do we weed through this? And we took a consensus, and the consensus was no politics. And we have to stand for what's right, and grandmothers have to speak. And how do we do that? And I know we've all had some really powerful feelings about those choices and
and
how to move
we're
forward.
modeling how to talk about it. We have to be able to listen and disagree and agree to disagree. And also, I believe a character in my play says everything is political. We live in a society that is dependent on each other. My last year has been full of relationship with my husband, with his family, with my daughter, with my ex. Everything's much better there now, right? After years and years of struggle and how difficult our younger years were. I'm loving being older now and being past all of that and working through what had been extremely difficult. So when I greet my little new step granddaughter, who's 2 years old, all I feel is my heart opening. It's
Beautiful.
it's all about the next generation. It's all about clearing all of the stuff that doesn't serve us away so that we can love and spread love. And maybe that's the flip side of politics. My husband's daughter is a community organizer. She's knocking on doors. I'm president of my local League of Women Voters. We're nonpartisan, but the League of Women Voters does have issues that they come down on the side of democracy.
Right.
Yeah, these things are important, just as other kinds of ceremony is important.
Yeah, the actions we take in our own lives affect the actions that others take in their lives. And it's the grandmothers who need to model the behavior for the youngers. And it's been quite a journey, holding the form for this organization this year.
Yes, I
And
have not envied you, Mayana. You've done an amazing job. I don't know how you did it and didn't walk away. And I've seen you deal with it. I've seen you be vulnerable and say, this is hard, and everyone sort of rallied around you, but only you had the on the ground responsibility of making it sustainable, and you have. And I'm so grateful to you. I think it's a necessary thing that there is a leader who says, if not for me, this group is not going to survive. So I'm going to step up. And you risked, I'm sure, your health and your mental health and your own family in order to sustain us. And I'm just really grateful to that and to you.
well, it's a calling, like your play is a calling. This is a calling for me. I feel like this is my dharma. When grandmother Suzanne uh, and I met, it's like, oh, you're the one I'm passing the torch to.
Yeah,
And I accepted the torch, and that means I accepted the responsibility as well. You
yeah,
can't just accept that kind of a thing and walk away from it.
yeah. Well, that takes an extremely mature mind. And, we get our maturity from a variety of places, mostly from experience and from trying and failing and picking ourselves up again. And it hurts a lot sometimes, but you have been someone since I met you who have been that courageous and that positive. You're always a positive presence. So once again, thank you for sustaining us and for doing this,
Yeah. Thank you.
finding
Yeah.
our roots once again.
Once again, we have to look at what are the things in our roots, and it's so evident this year what we don't want in our world. I mean, it's the dross has risen to the top of our
Skimming it
country
off.
here, for at least in the United States, but in many countries. It's just going to fall. That's the way of the energy is it rises up and it falls down. It rises and falls, and it's just what happens as the new is rising behind the falling, what's falling. That's where we are. And I'm looking forward to the coming times when we can really nurture the little ones. They're coming up next with their joy and their love, and really
Yeah,
help them build this world that the world we grew up in was not
right.
anything that they want. I don't blame them. It was hard work to get through it.
Yep. Yep. I agree. I agree. What can I do for the organization and for what the projects you might have in mind? What do you think we can contribute now in this next phase of tending our roots, of global grandmothers? What's in store for us?
Well, I'm looking forward to getting some technology that will allow us to do regular podcasts, to have
Yeah.
an actual podcast station and have these interviews regularly sent out and have a membership. And there's so many
There's a lot
technical
of women out
things.
there who want it. I mean,
There are.
55,000 originally, yeah.
Yeah, we're at 54.8 today.
Mhm.
And if every one of those gave $1, even $1 a year, not even $1 a month, and I have to thank you for your continued support of
Sure.
the financial piece of running an organization like this, because no, I don't take a salary, and that's been a bone of contention for some who felt like I was sacrificing myself for the organization. But when it's a service, it's not a sacrifice.
I
And
love
when it's
that.
your
I love
joy,
that. Yeah, when
you
it's a
do
service,
it.
it's not a sacrifice.
Yeah.
It, the business side of it, oops, the business side of it is always a question for those who maybe have the minds who can figure that out. I know that our wonderful sister grandmother Robin Davis, who's going through some health issues now, and we all send our love to her, was our sort of master guru behind the scenes. And then that reached a peak, and we had to pivot. And, the world of technology, whether it's Facebook or Circle, all these platforms, um, they're tricky to figure out. I'm just figuring out Facebook now. I'm making a page for my play, and they don't make it easy, but at the same time, there's monetary there's ways you can monetize online that people have figured out. I'm going to be doing, and I know our grandmother Audrey Addison sent me an invitation. Susan Meeker Lowry, or Lowry
Mhm.
Meeker, is also the Gaia Oils is on a frequency. What is it called? It's a frequency festival. We're going to be having that also.
Right,
Um, and that's a meeting of women, a meeting of women who have a message about empowerment and raising vibration, really, so that we can be ready for this new year and this new time. And yeah, at the bottom of it is sure, I'd like people to invite me to come to their community and do the play. And if they can pay my way, great. But tell you the truth, I'm retired. I get a pension. I don't need that as much anymore as I used to when I was earning a living. Um, so when you're at a time in your life when you can afford $1 or $5 or $8 a month, and everybody's asking for it, now is the time, right? During the
right,
holidays, you gotta say yes. You gotta say yes to those opportunities to grease the wheels so that
right.
stuff can happen and move forward.
And a lot of people have the idea that nonprofits can get grants easily. And
As
oh,
well.
with the tax laws, when in the first Trump administration, he changed the tax laws, and all of the foundations quit giving the amounts they were giving, the hospitals quit giving the amounts they were giving.
Yeah.
It
Yep. We found
it
that
is
with
not
League of Women Voters as well. He wants to do away with NGOs and
mm,
nonprofits, which holds us as a community, I think. So we rely on each other in ways that we
right.
hadn't. Yeah.
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 Yeah, you're feeling
Uh,
it. You're feeling your heart. I know.
yeah, I am. I am feeling it, and I'm feeling you, and I love you dearly, and I'm so
I love
glad to be
you
with
too.
you today.
I
Yeah.
love you too. I love you too. It's been I'm so fortunate, and I'm so fortunate to be able to talk to people via this opportunity that you're giving everybody. And I just send my love to all of those women who contributed and have contributed to Global Grandmothers Council Network and to Tending Our Roots. And I guess my advice is it's that moment to moment mindfulness. I'll tell you what happened in Edinburgh. I went to Edinburgh Theatre Festival to perform the play, which was an amazing, most challenging time I think I've ever had in my life and had to step up. But I was doing two things at once. I was trying to film, do a selfie video, and I was also walking on the Royal Mile where the pavement is uneven. And I fell. And my doctors haven't heard this. They've asked me, have you fallen in the past year? I said, no, no, no. I fell and I went smash down on my left side, which is the side that they replaced my hip. And I also fell on my knee. I was 2 days before I started performances, and it could have been much worse.
Mhm.
It really could have been much worse. But thank God, my guardian angels, my whoever was around me, caught me, and not a scratch. I think I was people around me on the sidewalk, are you okay? Are you okay? Yes, you're fine. And I realized one has to be mindful. And at a certain point in time, you just do one thing at a time. You either stand there and do your selfie film or you walk.
Right.
So I'm at that time in my life of trying to remember just do one thing at a time, the thing that comes up into your vision. It's brought there for a reason for you to do. All this multitasking was part of my life when I was working. Mm-mm. Just take a breath and do one thing at a time.
And do it well, do it with your best
With your
ability.
utmost, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Sandra. It's been such a joy. And I'm,
Beautiful.
how can people see your work?
Well, you can find me on Facebook, which is Sandra Laub on Facebook and Instagram. If you happen to be traveling in Israel this May, I invite you to see my work. I will also be performing in New York City at the Midtown International Theater Festival in July. If
Ah,
you think that you have a community, a congregation of people who would like to see this kind of social um, I don't know, what would you call it? It's not political theater because it's very personal, but it's socially positive performance on a contemporary issue. Then write to me at my Gmail at my email address, which is my full name, Sandra Laub 08 at gmail.com.
and your play speaks from both the Palestinian and Israeli perspective. It's not just
It's
from the
balanced.
Israeli perspective, right?
And that's what I saw. I saw a lot. There were about 25 different performances at Edinburgh Theatre Festival, and most were either all Palestinian or Israeli. Mine is a balance. I have to be honest. I'm very proud of that balance and the emotional investment I have for both sides. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you, Sandra.
Thank you, Mayana. My pleasure.
Much love.
Happy holidays and
Oh, yes.